Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now to raise the curtain on the Finishing Touch Awards, sponsored by the Painting and Decorating Foundation and the Wall and Ceiling Industry Advancement Fund. The Finishing Touch Awards recognize the efforts of the best painting, drywall, and taping market in the country. Our quality is second to none, and these awards continue to prove it. Our panel of judges were Charles Bell, Principal Charles Bell Architects, Dr. John Gall, Director of Training and Workforce Development, Carpenters District Council of Greater St. Louis and Kansas City, Ron Tierney, Director of Training, St. Louis Carpenters Apprenticeship Program, Randy Fries, former principal at Simon Painting, and Tom Finan of the Construction Industry Forum. The judges focused on the level of difficulty of the project, creativity and execution, the use of color as a design element, and all-around craftsmanship in the final product. And now the winners of the 2017 Finishing Touch Awards. First in the spotlight this evening, an honorable mention in exterior commercial painting goes to Bazan Painting for its imitation cobblestone crosswalk creations in Limay. The contract required Bazan to paint several crosswalks in various locations along Limay Ferry Road using a specialized coating formulated for use on roadways. Bazan's first step was to contract for the fabrication of an original aluminum template from which it could produce multiple plastic film cobblestone stencils. Working with a somewhat temperamental coating, Bazan's team rose to the challenge to produce painted cobblestone crosswalks at 19 Limay intersections. Nice work. The judges bestowed another honorable mention, this time in the special effects category, for Paintsmiths of St. Louis and its work for a major television network's display at an annual championship, some might say super, though we can't, sporting event. The display depicts the scene of a battle-scarred village in Afghanistan, complete with a downed helicopter. Completed in just 17 days, this 40-foot-long, 16-foot-wide display was constructed using products that were being stored in PSSL's warehouse, leftovers from previous jobs. Now that's a creative use of resources by Paintsmiths of St. Louis and a pretty cool display. Joseph Ward Painting was tabbed for an honorable mention for its commercial wall covering performance at Rabo Agrifinance in Chesterfield. Rabo is an agribusiness lender, and these murals depicting people, landscapes, and products illustrate the breadth and scope of agricultural industry. Meticulous attention to detail on seams and joints was the rule for Joe Ward's crew, not to mention the level of difficulty of working in an atrium stairway. The judges appreciated the nice effort put forth on this project by Joseph Ward Painting. Let's take a look at residential drywall finishing now, where John Bender Drywall scoops up first place for its outstanding work at this home in Frontenac. Fred Bruning Homes chose John Bender to apply the finishing touches to this 8,000 square foot project. In all, more than 32,000 square feet of wallboard products were taped and finished to an exacting standard. The job features ceiling vaults with splayed angles, projecting pilasters, and curvilinear bulkheads that flow seamlessly into curved stairways. The judges were impressed with Bender's taper's keen eye for detail and overall skillful execution. In its submission, John Bender said, "It's their commitment to excellence in workmanship that keeps their customers happy. When you pair good materials with highly skilled union labor, you get a job that is set apart from the rest." Amen, John Bender Drywall. In the category of industrial buildings, Coatings Unlimited snatches first place for its new construction work at the existing Miami Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium. The project called for the addition of a 672,000 square foot canopy to shade fans from sun and rain. The canopy was supported by more than 18,000 tons of steel that had to be protected from the corrosive effects of the coastal environment. Rule number one on the job was safety. No effort was spared to protect workers laboring 200 feet above the stadium floor. Protective nets, 185-foot boom lifts, and spider climbers were employed to ensure the safety of the workers. Their efforts included the application of thousands of gallons of epoxy and polysiloxane. Coatings Unlimited's crew of 30 worked tirelessly for 10 months, 6 days a week in the intense Miami weather to meet their opening day deadline. Coatings Unlimited rose to every challenge on the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and we applaud their efforts. Let's take a look at some commercial drywall framing now and find that Weiss Drywall takes first place in the category for its fine work at the new cafe at Wells Fargo's headquarters downtown. To call this undertaking a cafe is something of a disservice. This cavernous space is designed to handle a large number of patrons in the dining areas, as well as food prep and service areas. The sweeping soffits were produced by Weiss's carpenters using a proprietary grid system, jig, and high-flex drywall. The expertly framed and hung light coves and pockets accentuate the flowing soffits, giving the space a sleek, clean look and feel. This is difficult work, calling for the highest degree of precision. The level of craftsmanship exhibited in the symmetry of the framing work truly impressed the judges, particularly our carpenter judges, and that's why Weiss Drywall takes home first place in this category. Second place in drywall framing goes to Sundermeyer Limited for its work at the new athletic complex at Mary Institute Country Day School in Ladue. The project included 4 new buildings, including an impressive new aquatic center. Access to the natatorium is through an impressive 2-story atrium entry off the campus quadrangle. Architectural elements include off-angle and radius soffits, suspended drywall clouds, multi-tiered light coves, arched windows, and barrel vaults. This is very nice work indeed, courtesy of Sundermeyer Limited. Third place in drywall framing and hanging is picked up by Niehaus Building Services for its execution of the design at Monsanto's new Technology Center. Since this building is all about innovation, Niehaus incorporated a new style of framing system to install the continuous soffit on the 500-foot-long, 50-foot-wide skylight that's the dominant feature of this 4-story building. Niehaus was also tasked with framing and hanging on the exterior envelope of this state-of-the-art facility. Very nicely done. Let's shift gears now and shine the spotlight on interior commercial painting, where Joseph Ward Painting Company wins for its yeoman-like efforts at the Maryland Heights Community Center. Joseph Ward's crew was tasked with painting and graphics installation throughout the rec center, including the gym, fitness area, natatorium, and restroom facilities. While this may not appear to be that challenging an effort, the judges were quite impressed with the level of execution and attention to detail exercised by Ward's painters, maintaining the highest level of excellence throughout the project. Finished walls were smooth and blemish-free, despite an abundance of light wash, both natural and man-made. These are the qualities that separate award-winning work, and that, well, which is just good enough. Well, not on this project. Congratulations to Joseph Ward Painting. Let's take a look at drywall finishing now, where Weiss Drywall maintains its hold on first place with its artful exercise at the cafe at Wells Fargo. The scale of this undertaking is impressive, and the dramatic, complex design moves it into another realm. Sweeping curved soffits seemingly drift from the ceiling while enveloping the massive horizontal beams that intersect with them. Light troughs bisect the dramatic soffits, creating a peaceful illumination. We say it every year. Taping is all about execution, clean lines, sharp, crisp edges, smooth curves, and margins maintained. Level 5 finishes should be smooth and free from blemishes, and in this project they are. Radius curves should be rounded, not flat, and they are. Everywhere you look, the art of the finishing craft is on display at the cafe at Wells Fargo by Weiss Drywall. Second place in drywall finishing is garnered by TJ Weiss Contracting for its work at the St. Louis College of Pharmacy, Recreation and Student Center, and Residence Hall. This 7-story, 193,000 square foot building features a fitness center, gymnasiums, dining hall, and 220 additional living spaces. A critical shortage of available manpower, coupled with a tight schedule, presented the biggest obstacles on the project. But TJ Weiss rose to the occasion by scheduling its crew to work 10-hour days, 6 days a week, until completion. Completed within its 6-month schedule, the St. Louis College of Pharmacy features Finishing Touches by TJ Weiss. Third place in the drywall finishing category belongs to Sundermeyer Limited for the new athletic complex at MICDS. As we mentioned earlier, this job features an array of architectural elements that challenge the talents of Sundermeyer's tapers, whether it was the off-angle soffits, gabled ceilings, recessed arched window openings, or light coves. They rose to those challenges and produced a very nice array of finishes for MICDS. Nice work, Sundermeyer. Our final category this evening is industrial structures, and Thomas Industrial Coatings is awarded second place for its restoration of the Brick Mine Bridge near Walhalla, North Dakota. The Brick Mine Bridge is a Warren Truss-style span with wooden plank decking, built in the early 1900s. Thomas Industrial was part of the team contracted to remove the bridge, yes, remove the bridge, move it to a nearby field where it was deleaded, repaired, and repainted, and then put back in its proper place over the Pembina River. The historic Brick Mine Bridge is located about 5 miles from the Canadian border, virtually in the middle of nowhere, which means logistical planning was required to supply food, fuel, and essential services for both the crew and its equipment. As if that weren't bad enough, the almost constant high winds played havoc with the blast containment on an almost daily basis. Despite the daunting conditions, Thomas Industrial Coatings completed its task of renovating a piece of American history for generations to come. First place in industrial structures is awarded to Thomas Industrial Coatings for its Herculean effort to clean, coat, or recoat numerous approaches and bridges over the Ohio River at Louisville, Kentucky. The purpose of the undertaking was to improve traffic flow and safety on the tangle of roads, ramps, and bridges known locally as Spaghetti Junction. Perhaps the most challenging part of the project was coordinating the location of Thomas's crews to determine their most productive location on any given day. Work was being performed simultaneously on the construction of 2 new bridges over the Ohio, the Abraham Lincoln and the Lewis and Clark, the renovation of the Kennedy Bridge in downtown Louisville, and at numerous highway interchanges on either side of the river in Kentucky and Indiana. The scope of the work included the cleaning and coating of over 1.7 million square feet of steel on the new Lincoln Bridge and over 1.5 million square feet of concrete at the surrounding locations. Mobility was the rule of the day. Thomas employed mobile workstations, power wash stations, containment areas, and a pulley-driven, movable work platform employed to access work under the Lincoln Bridge. In all, more than 40 painters were engaged to overcome the challenges on this demanding project. By our winner, Thomas Industrial Coatings. Well, that's our show. Thanks to all our sponsors, suppliers, contractor contestants, and the craft workers from Painters District Council number 58 and the Carpenters District Council of St. Louis and Kansas City for allowing us to share with you the best our industry has to offer. And now, for the presentation of our awards, Mr. Tom Finan of the St. Louis Construction Industry Forum.